Good afternoon, everyone, and to our loyal viewers inside their homes. Thank you for tuning again on our show. You see, I have this burning passion to entertain people, but I do not only want them to be entertained, I also want them to be educated. Learn things about life or about the world, so at the same time, you are learning while being entertained. This show is all about ordinary people just like you and me, who has pertinent story to tell and share to other people, hoping to ignite inspiration, aspiration on other people's lives. I'm Amanda Kate Inso, and you're watching One Talk, One Nation. And today, we'll be talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. And we'll dig down and discuss furthermore on how bad did the pandemic affect all the workers, learners, and entrepreneurs. To better understand these events, we'll be having Miss Fressie, who is a COVID-19 survivor, Mr. Christian, who is a company owner of a local business, Miss Mary Jane, a school dean, our beloved mayor, Miss Doreen, and finally, Dr. Aubrey, who will give us a medical and scientific perspective about COVID-19. First off, we'll start with Miss Fressie.
Hello, a pleasant morning everyone.
Could you tell us your experience about battling with the virus and how were you able to overcome that challenge?
Well, at first, I went on a lot of tests in isolation to survive. Having the virus is not easy. Being positive in COVID-19 is not easy. There's always that anxiety of the possibility that you may not survive it. Thoughts running in my mind like, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Will I able to survive today? How about my family? Can I still be with them? Can I see them again? Those questions keep bothering my mind. Every night, as I lay on the hospital bed, I look around my surroundings and fervently pray to God to save me against the virus, to see my family again. You know, Amanda, when I became sick, I had the feeling that I already was infected of the virus. What came first to my mind is my family, and how will I contain the virus to myself and prevent any chances of transmitting the virus to everyone inside the house. That's when I decided to call the local government and stayed in an isolation facility for a week. That idea that it would be better if I stay away from them since it's okay for me to die because of the virus as long as my family is still healthy and okay carrying on with their lives. It's hard to think about yourself, especially when you have your family living in the same house with you. I have friends who have lost their loved ones because of the virus, so that fear struck me hard that time, knowing that losing a loved one really gives you an unbearable pain and grief.
Yes, it's true, Fressie. Losing a loved one is never been easy. We tend to think most of the time that it's okay if we lose our lives as long as our family is okay, and it's something that all of us here already have that in our minds. Well, if it's okay to you, may I ask where or how did you get the virus?
I work as a waiter in a famous restaurant, which is where I probably got the virus. Actually, it was not only me who had the virus in our workplace. Almost all of us got positive with the virus, which led our restaurant to close. We never know whether it was from our customers or our fellow workmates. We absolutely had no idea who we got it from. As of now, it's almost a year since the restaurant is closed and all of us lost our job in that pandemic. Good thing my husband still have a job which carried out from hunger in these trying times.
What do you think about Fressie's situation with most establishments closed and people losing jobs? What's the business sector doing for the employee in this current situation? Let's go to Miss Doreen for a response. Miss Doreen, what do you think of Fressie's comment?
Well, it's true. A lot of businesses had been closed because of the pandemic, and the virus is still spreading. You have to take risks because it might put your staff, customers, and especially each of your family's health at risk. Coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 has a substantial economic impact in addition to its effect on public health. I need to say this to allow us to understand expectations of business owners like me at a critical point in both time when the progression of COVID-19 to the pandemic had already caused massive dislocation among small businesses. Just several weeks after its onset and prior to the availability of the government aid through the Coronavirus Virus Aid Relief and Economic Security or CARES Act, I remembered while scrolling, I read on social media that 43% of the businesses had temporarily been closed. Nearly all these closures were due to COVID-19. As a business owner, I had to temporarily close large point to reductions in demand and employee health concerns as the reasons for the closure, with disruptions in the supply chain being less of a factor.
The crisis duration plays a central role in business, right?
Yes, and that thing is really hard to accept, especially if you are a business owner, because you are still not sure how to get back the cost that you spent on your business before the pandemic. We are also starting to reduce our active employees because we don't have enough savings to give them as payback for their efforts. Some businesses owners give alternate shifts to their employees so that each employee will still have salary regardless of how small it is, because we know how hard it is to have nothing these days.
COVID-19 plays a central role now in every Filipino's lives, and we have to conquer the problem to save us from this crisis. There's this one person to help us enlighten how COVID-19 puts our health at risk and helps us by telling the ways on how to avoid it from spreading and being infected by it. Dr. Aubrey, good afternoon. Can you share to us how does this variance put us in different levels of risk?
We have a lot of variants that we experience today, like COVID-19, Delta, and Omicron. All variants are different. The Omicron variant has a large number of mutations, which may mean the virus acts differently from other variants that are circulating. These are ongoing to determine if there is a change in how easily the virus spreads or the severity of the virus it causes, and if there are any impacts on protective measures. WHO is working with technical partners to understand the potential impact of Omicron on vaccine effectiveness. Currently, the Delta variant is a dominant worldwide, and COVID-19 vaccines are highly effective at protecting you from serious illness and death, including from infection with Delta. Anyone, no matter their age, can become sick with COVID-19. However, older adults over 65 years of age and people with compromised immune systems or chronic conditions such as diabetes and lung disease may be at higher risk for developing more serious symptoms or complications from COVID-19. If you or your loved ones are at higher risk, stay home as much as possible. Consult with your doctor about additional steps to take to protect yourself. We ask us all to take care of your health and to help stop the spread of the COVID-19 to save lives. There is now real hope that vaccines will help end the pandemic. But until it is over, we must
Yes, we
stay
need to take
vigilant
care
and continue to
ourselves
protect our loved
to
ones
save
by
other
wearing
lives
masks,
too.
physically
To
distancing, and
RD,
washing our hands.
Miss Mary Jane, face-to-face class is near. How do you keep your learners safe when they go to school in the face of this pandemic?
Today, we are still discussing if we should implement the face-to-face class to all or stay on site and others have to face-to-face classes. There has been a lot of talks and debate whether is the situation really fit for face-to-face classes. We must first ensure the safety of our learners and our school administration. COVID-19 has wrought devastation over the world, and education, like any essential industry, has been heavily damaged. Students, schools, colleges, and universities have all suffered significantly. Millions of youngsters miss school every day as a result of emergencies and ongoing humanitarian crisis. The COVID-19 outbreak has worsened the plight of students in nations affected by or emerging from conflict and tragedy. While the Department of Education recognized the public health decision to close schools, we believe that emergency plans should be in place to protect the right to education even in the time of crisis. DepEd believes that all learners, regardless of where they reside or their circumstances, have the right to attain education. Education is a fundamental entitlement for children, youth, and adults in emergencies and must be prioritized from the start of all emergency efforts.
To our mayor, Mr. Christian, what's your opinion on this pandemic that we've experienced?
The COVID-19 issue has highlighted why the government, where mayors and health officials are on the front lines of reacting to global health threats such as pandemics, is increasingly where successful governance occurs in the Philippines. Mayors and governors have provided some of the most practical solutions to COVID-19. Refugees and migrants' abilities and resourcefulness are also contributing to the virus defeat. The impoverished, sick, crippled, homeless, and displaced are the ones that suffer the most during any crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic is no different. Migrants and refugees, people who have given up one life to seek another, are among the most vulnerable. This is because they are frequently restricted to substandard and overcrowded housing, have limited access to information or services, lack the financial resources to weather isolation, and bear the burden of societal shame. Emergency frequently bring out the best and worst in people. Governors and mayors throughout the world are providing some of the most intelligent responses. Local leaders and community groups in cities are establishing specialized migrant websites, emergency medical and food distributing facilities, and even portable and washing stations for refugees and internally displaced persons.
Yes, we must indeed help each other to avoid spreading the COVID-19. Thank you all for sharing your experience and opinions that enlightens the Filipinos who are watching us. Both of you have wonderfully shared your experience and opinions about COVID-19 pandemic. And thank you so much for your cooperation. So at the end of the day, pandemic resides within our minds as it gives us too much anxiety, stress, and delivers crisis. It gives us a lesson to take care our health more than ever, you know. No one can save us but except ourselves. We must always be ready, being watchful and alert with our surroundings, be informed with the latest news and knowledgeable enough in terms of not being ignorant when another variant comes. So once again, everyone, thank you for joining us here. We truly appreciate your presence and times that you've put in today's program. It has been a wonderful day and a wonderful afternoon. And again, I'm Amanda Kate Inso, and this is One Talk, One Nation.